Okay, Oshi Season 2, Episode 4. This one is Episode 4. This one's Episode 4. And this episode definitely shows us, like, where we are going in terms of, like, not traction, but it's more of like, oh, I see the process, I guess you would say. I don't know if process is the right word, but I see I see what's happening here, right? Because I thought we were gonna fast forward past it, which I'm glad they didn't, because I like what they did. I like what they did here. But basically, Abiko goes to see the play that Gao-san, that Gao created. That, oh my god, I forget the director's name, but the director with white and black hair, and they actually catch Apiko in the crowd. It's like, and so they go up to the director and they're just like, "Director, Apiko, the manga author for fucking Tokyo Blades," is the goddamn crowd. It's like, oh, I'll bring her. And so like they have a sit down chat where it's like, oh, did you enjoy the play? Like, you know, did you do this? Did you do that? And so what they do is they have a conversation. And so she's sitting there, and she's just like, and she's like, you know, I did like the play, you know, being her shy self. But the director gets a little serious. He's like, listen, I get it. I get you love your project, and I get you love your manga. I understand that. But you need to also understand that I have been doing this for so long, and you see what Gao Sensei could do. That man is a talented, like, screenwriter. I'm not saying you can't write the script or you can't have direct input. But if you want that same flavor and you want that same passion and you want that same creativity, if you want your play to be just as good as that play out there, I need y'all something on the project. Like the director, at the very least, he was like, "Hey, I need my man's, because my man's made that, and that man's is good. So if you want my man's and like you want that to be good, I need my partner. I need him and me to work on this project together." And Abiko, you know, remembering what Yukiro said earlier, or remember, it's a give and take. These aren't just singular projects. They're collaborative projects. You need to work together with people. And so Abiko, remembering what her sensei said, finally budges and is like, all right, that's fine. I still want to be directly involved, but I think it is okay if we bring Gao Sensei back. And so we get a Zoom call with what I think is the director, Gao Sensei, Abiko, and I think it's Abiko's editor, where they basically pull an all-nighter trying to write out the script. And the director is basically giving his inner monologue, explaining the aspect of what's happening as the manga author and the screenwriter are now working so closely together. Two things could happen. Either, you know, they make a sensible project that actually makes, you know, sense and, you know, good, or they're going to make something fucking wild. And the second thing happened. And so the problem with it, right, is that the play isn't bad. It's not a bad play whatsoever. In fact, they even go far as say, it's like, okay, no, the screenwriting is pretty good. And it has a mixture of Gao Sensei and Abiko's flavors. The problem is now that you've done that, you have made such a, not a wild, but such a body-driven play that the story no longer hinges on the words or the setting. All of the acting is in the body language. And if you can't do the body language, you're basically fucking up the play. Basically, emotional acting is what was used a lot in this episode. Also, a good thing about this episode, we finally get like a proper interaction between Kana and Arima, where we get a scene where, you know, they're all reading the script. Everyone from the La La Lee production, they're all used to this. Like, their main guy is like, this isn't a problem. Basically, everyone is pretty chill with this. And Arima is probably one of the only, and Arima, being part of the production, is also fine with this, because she does the play. She does all this stuff. So everyone's like, oh, we just got to do body acting? That's totally easy. That's fine. The only people that aren't are the people outside of the La La Lee productions, which is the one dude with the purple hair that I keep forgetting the name of, who's like, fuck, I was already back at acting. This might fuck me. And Kana and Aqua, who are from Strawberry Productions. Now, kind of seems like she might also thrive with this as well. Her being in acting and being in a bunch of different stuff, she's already super fucking used to this. So it's probably not going to be that big of a deal for her, right? Aqua, on the other hand, his acting doesn't stem from his emotions. His acting stems actually from being able to more or less replicate things that he's seen. He's really good at mimicry, but he's not good at putting his own flavor into things, which kind of even points out, because Arima, which we get the interaction, Arima's basically sitting there trying to, console him, because there's a scene where he just doesn't put enough emotion into it, and he's like, no, you need to put more emotion into it, dude. And so Arima's consoling him, but Kana, staying true to her word, does say, no, like, you are not very good at emotional acting, and so you need to bring out the best in you. You need to bring out those emotions. Now, obviously, Kana doesn't know. Arima doesn't know. So I got caught off. I got thrown off by this because I thought it was common knowledge. But remember, it's not to many other people. It's not to, like, literally anybody else other than, like, a few people outside of that very niche circle of people. But what Kana basically says is, yeah, you really need to invoke that emotion. Best way that a lot of people do it is you imagine, like, when you're holding your mother, and when you're holding that person, imagine it being your dead mom. And that sends Aqua spiraling, because now he's thinking about it, he's thinking about trying to invoke that emotion, but now he's going back to, like, that moment that I died, and it's just fucking with him. He pukes on the floor, he's like, he looks so terrible, he's having a panic attack. He's basically, anytime he relieves that moment, it's just terrible, which is, fair. You were a child who, your mom died in your hands, which I don't know if we ever really get that aspect in season 1. Because season 1, we see Aqua handle a lot of his emotions pretty damn well for the most part. Like, he'll have his relapses here and there, but he's always able to center himself. But I don't even think we get as far as to see, like, the manifestation of his guilt for not trying to save Ai. Which, I mean, again, I get it. It's a traumatic experience, but someone needs to tell him he was a fucking 6-year-old. There probably wasn't much that he could have actually done. Like, I get it. It's one of those things where it's like, you have the adult knowledge of being like, yes, what the fuck? I want you to, what the fuck? Like, I know I couldn't, but, like, I feel like I could have done something. And that guilt weighs heavy on him, which is fine, I understand. And so, Arima goes to check up on him, saying that he probably shouldn't be here, he should probably get some rest. Someone should call, and he doesn't want to call anybody in his family, so the only person that he can call is his old director, the old editor. The editor that got him into everything, basically, which is one of the only people that actually knows what's going on in his life and who he actually is. And so, the director basically explains to Ai, not the whole story, but basically like, listen, you're his girlfriend, so I'm going to tell you this because you probably have the right to know, but he just went through some really rough shit. I'm talking about, like, really rough, not great, pretty bad shit. And so you gotta understand, from this boy's perspective, his life is fucked. It's like, that boy's got a lot of things going on in his life, and I can assure you, it's not great, it's not good, but it's not great. And so she basically gets that explanation and then goes back to check on him and catches him moaning, not moaning, but like calling out for Ai. And as she sits there hearing him call out for Ai, all the pieces for Arima starts connecting. The fact of his last name, who he worked for, the traumatic event that it was 12 years ago, that lines up with Ai's death, that just, all of it just, like, she connects the dots so fucking well. And, like, again, the pieces is there for anybody to figure out, but you just need to think about it a little bit. And so there's just, like, we just see a sequence of her thinking of everything, of flashbacks, of like of like the first episode, of just old images, of seeing the children, the rumors that I had a secret family and that no one was talked about. She potentially had twins. The fact that they have the last name Hoshino. The fact that like, you know, they never talk about their parents. The fact that they work for Strawberry Productions. The fact that Ruby's bringing back B. The fact that they're working with the same production person that was working with that it also knows about the death and actually knows about like the adoptions that happen with it. There's so much there that just you connect it and the wheels start turning, and then she realizes we don't get a verbal confirmation, right? But through everything she just connected, it's very much all but like physically said that Arima basically knows that Aqua is Ai's child. Obviously, she would need harder confirmation. But there's like too many connecting threads for it to just not be that case. And so she sits there, she's like, oh, wait a minute. And as Aqua's waking up, Arima confronts him and is like, I can't even imagine. Aqua's confused as shit. He's just like, I do not understand what you're doing. And she's just like, it's okay. I get it. It was hard. And you're so strong. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, so confused. But yeah, that was the big thing coming out for this episode is Arima knows, or at least has the general ideas put together that the potential that Aqua and in turn Ruby are potentially related to and the family secret rumor was not false. And so I'm very interested to see how that plays into things. Whether like she gets dragged into it and she knows, or like she hides it and she like is more attached to Aqua trying to comfort him in other ways because of it. Like I would assume with the emotional acting that they have to do with the change of the script, it has to come out at some point. Because with Arima having that idea in her head now, there is no way she's not going to be like more coddling towards Aqua, and Aqua is going to fucking question it. Because Aqua is intuitive like that. He's going to notice. And that might be a conversation that happens after the play is done. But we will just have to see. Also, it's nice to know that the play is in like 2 weeks, which is, I mean, you know, kayfabe, it sucks for them. But that does mean that this will probably last for 2, maybe 3 more episodes. And then we will potentially get the second half of the season focusing on Ruby. Because, like I said, I'd like to explore Ruby's whole thing too. So that would be nice. That would be nice. That would be very, very, very nice. Either that or we're just going to have multiple times of the play and more conflict with the play. We'll just have to see. Time will only tell. But yeah, that is Hoshinoko Season 2. I think I gave this one a 9 because it felt like a 9. I did not give it a rating, but the rating I will give it is a 9 because it deserves to be a 9. Because it was a really good episode and it dropped a really big fucking thing. So that is a good episode.